Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is your guide to Synchronize Pokemon. Synchronized Pokemon are awesome because if that Pokemon is in the lead slot of your party and you encounter a wild Pokemon, there's a 50% chance that the Pokemon that has Synchronized, its nature will be put onto the opposing wild Pokemon. This is really awesome for breeding. That what it means is that you can go out, find a wild Pokemon that you want to breed, have it have the right nature by having the right Synchronized Pokemon, and then you're just good to go from there. Now, you also might be wondering, well, what's the payoff here? We'll talk about that shortly. First off, you're going to need a Synchronized Pokemon. Head over to Route 102 and go and catch yourself a Ralts. Now, Ralts has a very low chance, I believe 5% chance of appearing, so unless you bring one from X and Y, you get one on the Wonder Trade, you're going to have to encounter and catch it first. After that, you can use the DexNav, search for it, and the cool thing about the DexNav is you'll be able to see its nature before you encounter it, so you already know if you want to catch it or just knock it out and then continue your search. So if you continue your search, then you can just kind of get a ton of synchronized Ralts. So once you catch a ton of those, you can go to your box, and then you don't need to have every single nature for Pokemon. That if you think about it from a competitive aspect, you're really just going to need some of the main ones. Timid, Jolly, Modest, Adamant, and a couple of defensive ones like Impish, Bold, Careful, and Calm. And that's pretty much all the natures that you're going to need, so you don't necessarily need all of them. Also, the reason why this is good is because it works for multiple Pokemon. That if you have, say, a Jolly Ralts, that means you can catch multiple Pokemon that you need to breed for Jolly from just having that one Ralts that you caught that one time. You can also kind of do this for Ditto, that if you want to get the right Ditto and you already have a synchronized Abra, Ralts, any kind of synchronized Pokemon you already have, you might just want to go through your boxes and then you can use it to help with Ditto, which means that now you can breed that Ditto with any kind of Pokemon that you want and at least save some time overall. So that's one of the cool things. There are a couple things that I learned about this though. Stationary Pokemon do work with this method, so it is really good for catching the Regis, Rayquaza, as well as the storyline legendary Pokemon. This is also useful for other legendary Pokemon. Pokemon like Mesprit and Ho-Oh, Lugia, all the Pokemon like that. So it's actually very useful to use Synchronize to get a legendary Pokemon. Also, Pokemon in the No Eggs group have at least 3 maxed IVs, so this is how you get a pretty much competitive Pokemon by having a good chance on the right nature and a good chance for the IVs, only needing a couple of soft resets to get an excellent legendary. So if you want to have a legendary to use in battle, Synchronize is an absolute must. Also, Pokemon caught through the DexNav. I had a Careful Ralts. I was going through Petalburg Woods trying to catch me a Careful Phantump, and after 10 catches, none of them were Careful. So that really busts out the 50% chance, which means it looks like Synchronize doesn't work with those Pokemon. Also, Synchronize does work with gift Pokemon, such as your Castform, your Cosplay Pikachu, and Latios and Latios. These Pokemon are considered gifts, and you can use the Synchronize to get that ability on them 100% of the time. So that's why I figured out about Synchronized Pokemon. Very helpful. After a little bit of grinding, you can really just use these Pokemon forever. That you transform into newer games, like if you're doing this in X and Y, you can bring them over, and then it's just a really useful thing to know that if you have synchronized Pokemon already, or you just want to dedicate an hour and catch a ton of synchronized Pokemon to use for breeding and training later, it'll work out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a nice day.